beauties, beautiful Jay here. Today I'm coming to you guys with my tips on solo traveling. I got quite a bit of responses from my solo trip that I did to Hawaii, and I decided that I wanted to go ahead and do a video to tell you guys some tips and tricks that I would recommend, or some things that I would recommend you should keep in mind when you're doing a solo trip. I do highly recommend that you do at least one solo trip in your life and get that experience of traveling solo. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I was terrified to take that solo trip. That was my first time ever taking a trip by myself, so it was pretty scary at first, but when I went ahead and did it, it was like I loved it, and I'm going to do more solo trips. I feel like when you take a solo trip, you learn so much about yourself, and then you're also able to do things that you may not have been able to do with a group, because you kind of have to accommodate the group and what everyone collectively wants to do. But when you're traveling by yourself, you can literally do whatever you want to do. So I do recommend that you do a solo trip. It is very fun. I'm telling you now, you're going to be scared when you're taking a trip by yourself, but it teaches you to love your own company, and it also teaches you to force yourself to get out there and meet new people and talk to people. I have a couple tips that I recommend if you are traveling by yourself. And tip one, a lot of people may feel like they don't want to travel by themselves for safety reasons, which granted I totally understand. My family is very big on safety. I definitely understand that concept of not wanting to travel because you're scared for safety reasons, but just make sure you tell someone where you're going to be going, where you're going to be staying, what are you going to do, and just kind of keep in contact with your family as much as possible, because you also want to make sure that you're not on your phone as much when you're traveling, because the purpose of traveling is to kind of just like get away from all of your everyday problems and just relax and enjoy your vacation. So you can make sure you give your information to your family or friends, or if you're in a relationship, your significant other, so that way someone can kind of know where you're at all times. The second thing that I would say is to make sure that you keep your stuff, especially as a female traveling by yourself, make sure you keep your stuff on you. I had a crossover purse. I do plan on getting a fanny pack in the future, only because those are, I feel like, would be a lot harder for someone to steal or take off of you. But a crossover purse is perfectly fine. If you have a fanny pack, you can go for the fanny pack. Keep your belongings, your personal IDs, your money, carry cash. I hate carrying cash, but I would say carry cash as well as have your card, and split your money up. So that way, if you lose like your purse or something, you still have money split up back at your hotel or wherever you stash your money at. So I would say definitely split your money up, so that way just for emergencies. Another thing that I would say is to make sure, like, you kind of emphasize that you, like, if you're at a hotel, well, when you're at your hotel, maybe like the people at the front desk, or if you're taking a cab or Uber or whatever, kind of emphasize that you aren't there by yourself. Like, oh yeah, my cousin or my friend is upstairs, I'm just going to this location by myself. Just kind of make it seem like you have someone there with you. You never want to make it appear to be like you're alone, even though you are, just because you never know what other people's intentions are, and you never know like who's watching you type thing. So you want to kind of make it appear like you aren't alone, even though you are. So kind of like emphasize to other people like, oh yeah, I'm just waiting for my my boyfriend or my husband or family member. Just kind of like wing it, so that way you will feel more safe with the fact that people are thinking that you're with someone even though you aren't. Another thing I would say is to plan your trip ahead, like kind of have an idea of the things that you would want to do while you're in there, so that way you have some sort of an itinerary of all the things that you want to do. And if you aren't able to do everything on your list, at least you have an idea of all of the things that you could possibly do while you're traveling. Let's say I kind of had an itinerary before I went to Hawaii. I was actually like super busy, not even gonna lie to you. So I didn't quite plan it out thoroughly, and I kind of like went off what my cousin recommended or what my friend recommended, because I kind of knew that I knew that my friend was there, so I kind of relied on her to kind of tell me different things that I could do while I was there, and I ended up having so much fun. Another tip is when you're out, don't be on your phone or have headphones in. Kind of talk to people. I am not the type of person to just like approach someone and just talk to them randomly, because I always like I'm always like wondering what would they think or whatever. But I've learned like people are really nice. Like people really don't mind talking to you. While I was at the airport, people saw that I was by myself, or I was sitting by myself, and a couple people talked to me while I was waiting to board the plane. When I got on the plane and I sat by the people that I was on the plane with, they were talking to me. I actually exchanged social media info with one person, because she actually was by herself until she was meeting up with her sister. And it was so crazy. Her sister actually went to the same college. Well, both of them actually went to the same college that I did, which I felt like that was so cool. Like, what are the odds that I would see two people that went to the same school that I did? That was pretty cool, and I would have never known that had I not talked to them. I definitely felt like it challenged me a lot, because like I said, I'm not the type of person, like I'm very friendly, I like to meet new people, but I'm still learning how to approach people, I guess you could say. So it was like really cool to come out of my comfort zone and just talk and mingle with people. I definitely say that Hawaii was a good experience to travel by myself, because the people there were so nice and so friendly, and I loved it. Like I absolutely loved it, to just be around like genuinely nice people. Even when I went to one of the excursions that I went to, I talked to people there too. They peeped that I was by myself. They were travelers as well, of course, and they was like, hey, come join, you know, our group, like come sit with us. We was talking and we was laughing and playing. It just felt like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't alone on the trip, like even though I went by myself. So I would definitely recommend, do not have any headphones in, do not be on your phone, because if you are, that kind of gives the impression to people that you really don't want to be bothered. The last thing that I would say is to pack light. Do not bring a lot of stuff, especially if you're traveling by yourself, because you have no one to help you carry anything. You have no one to watch your stuff for you, and you also just want to make sure, like I did carry on. I didn't well, one of the planes that I went on, they actually did a free check-in, because it was so many people on the plane and it was too many people that brought carry-on. So when you're on a plane and there's so many people that has a carry-on, you have to volunteer to check your bag in. So I didn't have the hassle of having to worry about checking in so many bags or carrying so many bags to the airport, especially with me having to change flights so often. It would have been so chaotic to have to worry about carrying so much stuff through the airport, rushing, because sometimes when you're changing flights to go to your next destination, sometimes the flights are so close together, it's like you have to get off this plane to hop on the next one. So if you have so much stuff that you're carrying, you're gonna slow yourself down and possibly miss your flight. Like, I would not recommend it. Those are my tips that I do recommend that you just try out solo traveling. It's not bad whatsoever. Like, I honestly loved it. Like, my experience was great. Like I said, I was terrified at first because that was my first trip, and you know, you always have to be cautious. Like, as a female, like, you just always have to be cautious wherever you go, because you never know. You don't want to put yourself in any danger, and you want to make sure you're alert and taking extra precaution. My mom will always say how I didn't always pay attention to my surroundings, but traveling by myself, it forced me to pay attention to my surroundings because I didn't have anyone there with me. I hope that these tips are helpful. I hope that if you are planning on traveling, to just go for it. It is scary, but if you plan ahead, you will be perfectly fine. I promise you. I made it back safely, and I had fun, and I met people along the way as well, which is always great, because you want to meet people and you want to learn about different cultures and where people come from. So if you are planning on traveling alone, go ahead and drop a comment down below of where you're planning on traveling, and if you have traveled by yourself before, leave a comment and let me know where did you go, because I of course love to travel, so I would love to see like where a possible next stop could be. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.